to Luduke's Creations. I'm Charity. Today, as promised, I am going to be showing you how to make wallet pouches. So this pouch right here has 6 card holders in there. It's got a divider in there. So that way on one side you could put your cash in, um, and kind of keep everything separated. You can make these as big as you want. I usually make them about this size, or if I want to make one to carry my phone, I'll make one a little bit bigger, which I'm used to having a smaller phone, so I gotta resize my pattern to make this a little bit bigger so it'll hold a phone. Okay, so we're going to, okay, so fabrics. Okay, so we have 8 by 5 inch fabric. That's going to be our main fabric, which is also going to be our lining fabric as well. Okay, we have an 8 by 7 of our, this is what's going to be the divider inside here. So that piece that I just showed you is going to be this right here. I did not put any interfacing in there just because there's already a lot of bulk in there. We have our zipper. Now, our piece is going to be for our card holder is 8" by 15.5". Okay, so our interfacing that we're going to be putting on the back of this is 7.5 by 15". And then our interfacing for our main fabric is 7.5 by 4.5. So I haven't ironed any of these yet. So we also have a label as well. So let me get the interfacing put on our pieces that we need. So we're going to be interfacing this right here for our card slots. Okay. And then we're going to be taking 2 of these fabrics right here. We're going to put interfacing on them as well. Alright, so get started on doing that, and I will be right back. So I completely forgot. Make sure that you run your iron over the top of this uh, before you start sewing. That way it'll just get it to lay flatter for you. You just kind of want to hold it in place as you're doing it. And even if things do shift, like I said, we can always go back and readjust everything. So don't stress out over it. Alright, so going to top stitch each one of these, and then I'll show you how, well, I can show you right now. So when you go to, after you get everything, sorry, after you get everything top stitched right here, so what you're going to do is you're going to fold your fabric in half, and then you're going to mark your center point on your top and your bottom. You're going to line your ruler up on that crease that we just created, okay? And then you're going to feel and mark where this piece is on the back side, so you're not stepping over that as you're stitching the back of this. And we're just going from right here down to this one right here, so that way it's securely put together. Alright, so let's get these top stitched, get that sewed down, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so we have our top stitching done. We also have our center sewed down. So now what we can do is we can um, go ahead and just face these down where they're not going to be shifting and moving. So that way we can take these clips out and start working on our next piece. Alright, so we're just going to do this about 1/8 of an inch. So, alright, so remeasure, make sure it's still in its spot that it needs to be at. Now we can put it back up on the machine and try this again. Gonna be doing the same thing on this side. So now we can go through and trim up all these threads. Some of this is going to be cut off, so I'm not really too worried about really making it perfect. Besides, like these spots right here, make sure that I really get in there and trim them down. Alright, get rid of all the threads. Alright, so we're gonna set this piece off to the side for a minute. This piece, this is our divider piece. So this piece right here, we're just gonna iron it real quick just to make sure that we get that crease. Make sure I take my piece of paper off. Okay, so that's really all I'm worried about is getting that crease. And then with this one, all we gotta do is put a top stitch in it, and this one will be ready for getting it inserted into the wall. So we'll get a top stitch real quick. So when I'm doing top stitching on a piece of fabric like this that doesn't have any fusible fleece or interfacing or anything like that, it's just itself. When I start and begin, I will usually keep it away about a quarter of an inch away from the very edge of it. Because if not, it'll sink into your machine and get stuck and cause you all kinds of headaches. Um, so this one's gonna tidy it up real quick. Alright, so now we can take these clips off. And with this one, it's an 8x7, but what I have done is I folded it in half to create that divided pocket. Okay, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting together all this. So, alright, we're gonna need our zipper. Let's get this up out of the way for. Alright, so we want our main fabric to be on the outside. Okay, so what we're gonna do, if you have directional pattern, make sure you pay attention to this. This one is not, so I don't have to worry about that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this piece up. We're gonna take our zipper with the zipper part facing our made fabric. Okay. So what I like to do once I get to this part is I will take some clover clips after I get everything lined up and I will clip it so that way it's not shifting and moving as I'm adding the layer for the lining. Alright. So technically for the lining we only need one of these because this is going to be our second piece of lining. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure our pockets are pointing up. We're gonna line it up with this. Now remember, I told you that we made this a little bit bigger because we're going to be trimming all this down. Alright, so I just go through, line it up, and then flip it, come over here to the sewing machine, and we're gonna tack this down. Alright, so once I get to this part where I have my zipper, I'm going to raise my foot with my needle down, and I'm just going to slide this past my foot. Bring my person foot back down, and keep on till we get to the edge. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch right along here. And then after that, we're going to add our label so we don't forget our label. Alright, so now that we have that piece on, we're going to do our label real quick. So with the labels, you can choose to put them on the inside of your pockets. Um, if that was something that you wanted to do. In this case, I'm going to could actually put it on your divider piece if you wanted to. Um, but For some reason, I really like mine on the outside. So again, we're gonna find our center mark. So we're gonna fold this in half to find our center. We'll fold this in half to find our center as well. Alright, so then instead of taking this off the machine, I'll just lift up my presser foot and slide it over. Drop my foot, drop my needle. There we go. Thread real quick. So now we're going to do the same thing. Okay, pretty side up goes right against your zipper. So now your two lining piece or your main fabrics are touching each other. We're gonna flip it over. We're gonna add our divider piece, which if you line it up, or if you lift up your alright, so apparently I had the wrong piece. So had to make do with what I had. Okay, so this extra piece that we had for lining, I actually just folded it down in the back and top stitched it down. So we're going to line everything up. It's like a big old giant sandwich. So this piece we'll just wait until we get this stitched on. Alright. First trim. Then we'll do the same thing like we done on the other side. Is we'll separate these, get them flattened out. If you want it really flat, you can take your iron over to it and it'll just lay flat for you. But this material seems to do pretty good finger pressing it down. So, alright. And just like before, trim our threads. Alright. So, this is what our inside should be looking like. Huh. What happened here? Okay, well, it looks like I'm gonna be pulling some stitches out, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the stitches tore out and retop stitched everything. Alright, so here is the fun part. Okay, so we're gonna take our two main sides, our two main fabrics, right, and we're gonna we're gonna match them up, and we're gonna clip. We're too far ahead of ourselves. To both the top, just okay. So when it comes to our outside pieces, So we want to make sure that our outside fabrics are matched. Okay. So what I do to make sure it stays is I will put a pin just like that. So that way I know once when I'm sewing, it should not move. And do the same side, or same thing with the other side. Match them. So now we need to insert our divider. So going to align it just like this. And I'll put pins in it just to kind of keep everything from moving, shifting. Okay, so when we go to sew this, we're gonna need to leave an opening down here at the bottom. So, where'd it go? Find my, there it is. So we're gonna mark an opening down here at the bottom. Okay, so right there to about right here. Okay, we're gonna be sewing this at 1/4 of an inch all the way along. So make sure when you sew, if you're using a smaller a zipper like I am, then make sure you're paying attention to where your metal pieces are when you're sewing, so that way you're not hitting them when you're sewing. See, mine's right there, almost right at the end. So I'll come in a little bit more, just so that way I can bypass that. Alright, so we'll get this sewed up and I will be right back. So I'm just gonna walk you through on how I do this part. It can be